So earlier this season, we were told that Josh Kline was in the sphere, was still a person of interest for the Minnesota Vikings at guard if poop did hitteth the fanneth, with it, which is clearly hittingeth the fanneth right now. It is not great what is going on at that guard position. Dakota Dozier has just been baseline, slightly above awful. Pat Elflein was atrocious week one before hurting his finger. Charlie bit my finger. Thumb, whatever, in practice. And of course, Dru Samia has just been the absolute nutlow, absolute worst guard in professional football, culminated with that Sunday night performance, which was, oh boy, every time Dru Samia gets called for a hold, an angel gets her wing. So I guess we have that going on for us. So awesome. With all that going on, Vikings need to stop effing around and re-sign Josh Kline, you cowards. 30 years old, 2013 UDFA out of Kent State, free agent signing last offseason. Yeah, need to get the band back together. So, like we said, last offseason, Josh Kline inked up with the Vikings free agent signee in the second wave of free agency. 3 years, $15.5 million deal. Started 13 games for the Vikings last season, all at right guard, and was legitimately solid last year. Like, you can make a good argument that he was the second best offensive lineman behind Brian O'Neill. He put up a 67.7 PFF pass blocking grade last season, allowed only 22 pressures and 2 sacks. Compare that to Pat Elflein, who allowed 38 pressures and 8 sacks last year. And yes, 3 fewer games for Kline, but yeah, whatever. And we thought, okay, fine. We have a solid, not spectacular, but extremely solid right guard, and that's all you want at that guard position is just competency. Something we've been looking for forever. It's like Nick Easton. Like, Nick Easton wasn't flashy, he wasn't this, he wasn't that, but he was solid in the outside zone scheme. He was a decent pass protector, and he was competent. Now, he wasn't 4 years, $24 million from the Saints competent, but he was aight. He was fine. And Vikings had that in Josh Kline. But then he was due to make $4.4 million this season, and they approached him about a pay cut, and he was like, no, I will take my talents elsewhere. And then the Vikings, a $2.67 million dead against the cap. They save like $5, and they're like, okay, you're gone. And then maybe Josh Kline made an error as well because of the COVID offseason. So he wasn't able to get in for free agent visits or medical checks. And a lot of teams did have questions about his concussions. He had multiple concussions last year, caused him to miss a couple of games. It wasn't great, right? But also, yeah, the Vikings, it is clear that they wanted to keep him. They just wanted him back at a lower price. So interest is obviously still there. And I understand the whole, well, obviously they know what they're doing. No, they don't. I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe they're human. Maybe they're fallible. Maybe they make mistakes as well. And also, if Rick Dennison knew what he was doing, how come he's been fired 17,000 times? That's what I want to know. All right. Also, what if it's pride? What if pride is getting in the way of the Vikings and Josh Kline getting this back together? What if it's Rick Spielman not wanting to admit that he made a mistake of trying to pressure Josh Kline into taking a pay cut when he was a very solid guard in this scheme last season, and he's like, oh yeah, Elflein would be fine at right guard. If not, my fourth round pick, Dru Samia, will fill in just perfectly fine. No, that's not it. And also, what if it's Josh Kline not wanting to admit that he should have taken the pay cut, stuck here with Minnesota, where he had some success last year, as opposed to trying to press his luck in the market, which clearly wasn't there. So it does rub both ways. But Kline is a guy who was solid in the system last year, could come in today, and be the best guard on the Vikings on Sunday against the Falcons. Absolutely. He'd be better than Samia. Frankly, he'd be better than Dakota Dozier as well. And also, maybe it's a spot where Dennison and Kubiak and also Zimmer Doam, it was like, well, you know, we set up this fake left guard competition for Dakota Dozier, and he beat out Aviante Collins, who didn't even make the opening 53-man roster. And then, of course, Pat Elflein at right guard is like, well, we don't need Josh Kline. We got Pat Elflein over there, who is god-awful, and Dru Samia is also god-awful. And then maybe they're like, well, we don't want to admit it was a mistake to cut Josh Kline. We don't want to admit that it was a mistake not to play Ezra Cleveland. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. So I actually do think that it is stubbornness and also pride just coming together and coalescing and leading to the Vikings just continuing to make these stupid-ass decisions at right guard. Other than that, sure, it's fine. So that's it. Again, no more pussyfooting around. Sign Josh Kline, get him back in purple. Finito. All right, so your thoughts. Resign Josh Kline. Get him in here. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.